Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. Today we're looking at adding noise to an image in Photoshop. There are a number of reasons why you may want to add noise to an image in Photoshop. For example, you may want that sort of grainy look. And also if you've done a lot of work perhaps in composting images together, they'll tie in together a little bit better if you add some noise to them. But there are various ways of adding noise, and I want to show you the way that I use to add noise. So I've got this image, it's just a single layer. I've done some cleanup on it, saved it, and reopened it. But essentially what I want to do is to give it a slightly grainier look. For this, I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm going to fill it with grey. Now I've got a grey here that's on the lighter side. It's not sort of halfway down the grey scale. It's here at 180 with all the red, green and blue channels, the exact same number. That's a pure grey. So I'm just going to click OK, and I'm going to fill my layer here, my brand new layer, with this grey. And I'm going to add my noise to this layer. For this, so that I can edit it, I can convert it to a smart object. So I'm just right clicking on this layer and choosing Convert to Smart Object. This gives me a layer which can be edited. So I'm going to choose Filter and then Noise and add noise. Now here we get some choices. Right now I'm just working on grey because it's a little easier to see what's going on. If you choose noise that's not monochromatic, you're going to get color noise. That's not really what we're looking here. We definitely do want monochromatic noise. Now for us, Gaussian and uniform are really going to be the same thing. If you were actually applying this noise direct to this layer here, then they would be very different. Gaussian would apply more noise to the midtones and less to the shadows and the highlights. But here, uniform and Gaussian are going to give us an even noise, although this is a finer noise and this is a heavier noise. For this image, I want this heavier noise, and I can choose my amount, so I can just dial that up to whatever I want. I'll click OK. Of course, we've now got a noise layer that's having no effect at all on the image underneath except to totally block it out. We can use a couple of blend modes. One of them is multiply, and multiply will darken everything because we've got a grey layer here, and it will also apply noise to it. But the way that the multiply blend mode works is that it multiplies the noise pixels with the layer underneath. So everything's going to get darker, and we're going to see pretty much an even smattering of noise across the image. Now, of course, we can lessen this by dialing down the opacity, and we would, but we're going to see a lot of noise in the lighter areas of the image as well as the darker areas. There's another blend mode which will help us here, and I think it's a better choice, and it's called overlay. The way overlay blend mode works is that it applies a layer differently in the highlights and in the shadows. The noise effect is going to be applied more in the shadows and less in the highlights. Let's have a look at this, but let's have a look at this at 100% so we can see it a bit more clearly. We've got some noise up here in these highlight areas, but not as much as we've got down here in the mid-tone areas of the image. And of course, if we dial down this opacity, we're going to see less and less noise in these lighter areas where it's going to be really obvious, and more the noise will be applied in the mid-tone areas of the image. So this effect, this noise effect, applying it with either the overlay or the multiply blend mode, depending which you prefer, is going to give you better control over the noise applied in your image. And of course, this noise filter has been applied as a smart object, so we can just double click on it at any stage to change the effect. So if we want more noise, larger amount, then we can dial it up here because this is an editable filter. So I hope that this has helped you take a different look at applying noise to images in Photoshop. I prefer to use a separate noise layer, and you may too. Before we finish up here, if you're interested, I have more Photoshop training at Skillshare.com. When you sign up for Skillshare, you'll get access to thousands of classes there, including over 250 of mine. In the description below is a Skillshare offer for you, which is at least as good as the current Skillshare offer. Typically, mine will be better. Please feel free to share this coupon with family, friends, and co-workers. I hope you've enjoyed this video and learned something about Photoshop of which you were previously unaware. If you did enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be alerted when new videos are released. Until next time, my name's Helen Bradley. Thank you so much for joining me here on my YouTube channel.